Hey, what's going on, Read My Lips people? So what I wanted to talk about today was actually a story that broke a couple days ago, and it's one I've been meaning to talk about. Um, what I'm going to mention touches on a touchy subject, so I'm just going to put a sort of disclaimer in the beginning of this video. It has to deal with suicide, and I know that that's a sensitive subject to some people. Where they don't like talking about it or even hear about it, or it might hit close to home for various different reasons. So if that's not something that you're comfortable with listening to or even talking about, now's your chance to hit that X button, or better yet, click one of the links above, the card above, and watch one of my other videos. And that was your chance to leave. Now, Bernie Sanders held sort of a town hall, and he had a gentleman there who, in so many words, said he was going to kill himself. Bernie was getting a lot of praise for being willing to talk to the guy and to talk him down after the town hall. I actually have a clip here for you we're going to watch, and then we're going to come back.
Now they're saying that, I didn't re-sign or do something or something.
How are you going to pay off?
I can't. I'm going to kill myself.
John, stop it. You're not going to kill yourself. All right,
I can't deal with this. I have Huntington's disease. You know how hard that is? You probably don't, do you? I can't drive. I can barely take care of myself.
All right, let's start later at the end of the meeting, okay?
Thank you.
Okay.
Annie, please tell us more about that moment and what happened after.
Yeah, Don, so that was in Carson City, Nevada, Senator Sanders' first public event since the Democratic debate last night in Houston. And as you heard at the end of that exchange, Senator Sanders promised the veteran that he would follow up with him once the town hall was over. And as promised, as soon as the event wrapped and Senator Sanders took photos with whoever in the audience wanted, Senator Sanders, followed by his wife Jane, walked over to the veteran to continue their conversation. And this really just shows what's at stake with this healthcare debate and what Senator Sanders, who continues to hold smaller events, more intimate town halls, allowing people to share intimate stories that they may not otherwise get the opportunity to share.
Okay, so yeah, I mean, it's kind of intense. It's kind of intense. So there's a couple things I wanted to talk about while I have your attention. So the first thing is kudos to Bernie for talking to this guy and being attentive to him after the town hall you were having, or the rally, or whatever you want to call it. Major props to Bernie Sanders. I've heard other channels, other progressive YouTubers, talk about this situation that happened, and they also praised Bernie, rightfully so. But some of them have said some things that I disagree with. And the things they've said is, Bernie is the only candidate that would have done this kind of thing. I don't agree with that at all. As a matter of fact, I think every candidate that's running for POTUS currently would have done the same thing in some way, shape, or form. And as you know, if you've been watching my channel for any amount of time, I've been very critical of the other candidates, the other Democratic candidates running for POTUS. Super hard on Kamala Harris, super hard on Joe Biden, etc. But I think all of them, including Biden, even though he's been in the trenches with Corn Pop, even Joe Biden, I think, would have tried to talk this guy out of what he said he was going to do. If anybody would have if he would have came at any of the candidates in the fashion that he did, the intensity he had in his voice, right? He even said, they can't relate to how he's feeling. Bernie can't relate to how he feels, the pain he's going through. If he would have came at any other candidate that same way, I think they either also would have talked to him after the town hall, or they would have stopped what they were doing and at least walked over to him, comforted him, talked to him, and tried to talk him down and talk him out of what he was doing. I don't think any candidate running would have been like, yeah, don't do that. That's not a good idea. And anyway, continuing on, I don't think they would have reacted that way. So that's one of the things I disagree with some of the other progressive YouTubers, many of whom I respect, saying this about this scenario. I think they all would have tried to help that guy out in any way that they could have. The other thing is, this just shows how serious this medical health and healthcare issue is. If somebody's just piled in debt and can't afford to buy the medication or the pills they need, and they're literally suffering day in or day out, they can come to that point that gentleman was at. Like, fuck it all. Fuck it. I'm tired of suffering, and not only am I suffering physically, but I'm suffering financially and mentally. I'm suffering mentally as well. So that's major. This healthcare thing is major, and I've gone through healthcare issues myself. I've gone through it. Right? I that's one of the reasons why I also advocate for Medicare for all, because I've been through it. And for a lot of people, it's hard to even relate to it until they've been through it. Okay? So I spoke to one of my colleagues, and he's a Republican. I didn't even know he was a Republican until a couple weeks ago, because sometimes especially in today's climate, it's not easy to talk about politics with people. You can literally become enemies. It gets nasty quick. So he's a Republican, and he found out I was doing this channel, and he watched some clips and what have you. But one of the things he told me is he doesn't think that medical care is a right. Now, does he think yes, I'm fine with having a medical system and people getting help and blah, 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 and the system that it is now? He's okay with that, but he doesn't believe it is a human right. And I was kind of flabbergasted. And I knew that we all didn't agree on how this medical and healthcare should be handled. Joe Biden's like, Obama's my friend, and I want to do it the Obama way. So, Biden wants to do it his way. Bernie wants to do Medicare for all. Other people are making up their own Medicare bullshit. But I think they all believe it is a right. Now, the ironic thing is, if they all thought it was a right, they'd do Medicare for all, because there's millions of people that don't have access to health care and are dying. What is it, 34,000 people a year? So it's kind of ironic. If they think it's a right, then they're not handling it correctly. But at least they all believe in some way, shape, or form or another that health care should be a right. But he didn't believe it was a human right. And that shocked me. That really shocked me. It's utterly absurd when you're paying out the ass and you're trying to balance your medication because you can't afford the next dose, when you can go to Mexico and Canada and get it for not even a third of the price, for a lot less. It's absurd. They're price gouging us, and they're literally fucking us no lube. And why the fuck should I just be like, and take it? Why? Why should I? Why should I just take it? That's ridiculous, especially when I can see that it can be done better other places. The fuck do I look like? I'm not a cuck, okay? If I know this can be done better, then let's do it better. Biden in one of the debates, his reaction to something that Sanders was saying, well, this is America. Yes, this is fucking America. So let's do shit better. Okay? We don't have to have this half-ass system that we have. People shouldn't be going bankrupt from medical bills. That's absurd, especially if it's not happening other places. The hell is wrong with you? So, yeah, I just wanted to touch on this real quick because I wanted to give a kudos to Bernie for talking this guy down later, which he did. He did later on talk to this gentleman and talk him down and stop him from doing what he was going to do. And listen, when somebody says they're going to harm themselves, take that shit serious. Because how many countless stories have there been that somebody's been telling you that they're unhappy and they're going to do something to themselves. And if you let that go by the wayside and you sort of ignore it, and then a day comes where they kill themselves. And then everybody's like, how did this happen? How could we let this happen? What happened? How do we let this happen? Well, people were telling you, or people were giving you warning signs, and people were showing you that they needed help, and you ignored it. And this guy just did a cry for help at this Bernie Sanders town hall, and kudos to Bernie for talking to him. But I think all of the candidates would have done it. So whatever progressive YouTube channels you're also watching that don't think Bernie would have done that, I disagree. Vehemently, I disagree. I think they all would have tried to talk to this gentleman. You're going to tell me Andrew Yang wanted to talk to him? I saw Andrew Yang on stage burst out in tears. Are you kidding me? Like, I don't agree with everybody's policy, but there's some semblance of humanity in all these candidates. Some of them might be idiots, but there's a semblance of humanity in all these candidates. And that's all I wanted to say. Do you think medical care should be a right? Do you think it's a human right? And do you also think the other candidates would have tried to talk to that gentleman and stop him from doing what he's doing? Let me know in the comment section. I'm interested in hearing your thoughts. If you like what you see, if you like what you hear, please like, comment, and subscribe. I'd really appreciate it. If not, let me know in the comment section why. I'm always down to talk about it. Hopefully I'll be talking to you guys soon. Have a good one. Peace.